Great happy Wednesday, everyone. Great happy Wednesday, everyone. I know that sounds so completely off, but instead of me saying good morning, good afternoon, great morning, great afternoon, whenever you choose to watch this, it fits the time that you watch it. So, great happy Wednesday. Great happy Wednesday. And that just sets the tone for how your Wednesday is going to go. Have a great Wednesday, have a happy Wednesday, have a joyous Wednesday. So welcome back for another word of T Speaks encouragement. I'm actually excited for this one because this one causes you to dig a little deeper. This one for today causes you to go back and reflect. It causes you to go back and wonder why. It causes you to go back to the root. It causes you to go back to where it all started. It causes you to go back to your original why. So without further ado, our topic for today is, why did you say yes? Why did you say yes? And for me, my yes was given because I knew that I needed to be saved from me. I knew that I needed to be saved from me. I knew that if I kept going down the path that I was on, I was definitely going to self-destruct. If I kept going down the path that I was on, and it wasn't any type of crazy path, but just in my mind, if I never gave my yes, I wouldn't have been able to escape the thoughts of my mind. If I didn't give my yes, I would have still been suffering from the thoughts that were in my mind. And I was an overthinker, overthinking everything. And when I say everything, overthinking everything. But I was a silent overthinker. So you know those silent overthinkers, they keep things to themselves, but they overthink and they're like, well, what's this doing? Or what's that doing? Or what's going on here? Or what's going on there? But they keep it in. And those are the most dangerous overthinkers that you could ever have or ever encounter, because you're keeping it in and you're keeping it in and you're keeping it in until it gets to that point, that one little point where it just blows all up, and you either want to run away or you just want to just stay there and blow up. Me, I was a runner. I did not like confrontation, and I still don't like confrontation, but I didn't like confrontation. I did not like anything that I thought was an argument was a trigger for me. Anything that I thought was an argument was a trigger for me, because it felt like the other person was telling me, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, and you're not doing anything right. That is how it played out in my mind. They very well may have been trying to correct something before it got to that point. But in my mind, it was always, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong. And I would sit and I would waddle in that. Not a good feeling at all. Definitely not a good feeling. So on today, I want you to go back and reflect on why you gave your yes. Whatever reason you gave your yes on, go back and reflect on that. And understand that when you give your yes, it's not an invitation to be still. Yes, he tells us to be still, but it's not an invitation for you to stay still. It's not an invitation for you to stay stagnant. Your yes is an invitation for you to come in. It's an invitation for you to evaluate, reevaluate, let him remake, remold you how he sees fit. And as you are on your journey, you're supposed to grow. You're supposed to go further. It reminds me of the scripture Isaiah 54:2. And it says, enlarge your tent gates, or whichever version you may be reading it in. Enlarge, grow, build, however it reads in your version. But either way, it's not about being still. It's not about being stagnant. And it's definitely not about gatekeeping your yes. Eventually, you're going to have to go out and reach your nation. Eventually, you're going to have to go out and reach who it is that God has for you to reach. Eventually, you're going to have to work up the courage. And I'm speaking from experience, because I did not always have the courage to come on and do these videos. I did not always have the courage to stand behind the pulpit, or even stand in front of the pulpit in front of the church. I didn't even have the courage to sit in the front row. That's how much I have grown. That just shows you that when you don't gatekeep God, he won't gatekeep you. And in you not gatekeeping him, he's not going to gatekeep what he has for you either. But you have to make that move. You have to make that initiative. You have to make that step. And you have to say, I want more. I'm not okay with where I am. I'm okay with where I am. I'm grateful with where I am, but I want more. And it's okay with you saying that you want more. That's not you being greedy. That's not you wanting it all for yourself. That's you saying, I want more to glorify your name. I want more to glorify you. I want more to grow the kingdom. And in you wanting more to grow the kingdom, you also have to know that he's not going to keep you still. In you wanting more to grow the kingdom, you also have to understand that you have to take steps. You can't grow, you can't get further. Let's say you're going on a walk, and you say you're going on a walk, but you end up never going on that walk because you never take that step out of that door. In order for you to go on a walk, you have to literally take a step. That is what we're doing. We're on a walk with Christ. This is our walk with Christ. This is our kingdom walk. This is our kingdom assignment, our kingdom movement. And in order for us to say that we are on a walk, we have to physically walk. In order for us to go and say that we're trying to grow the kingdom, in order for us to go and say that we don't want to gatekeep God, in order for us to step out, we literally have to take a step out. Back to Isaiah 54:2, it says enlarge. And in thinking about enlarge, I hear the word grow, I hear the word reach, I hear the word touch, I hear the word spread, I hear all of those words. And in order for you to do that, you have to take a step. It's good to start where you are, and it's okay if you don't start off as fast as everybody else, but you also have to understand that you can't start and just stop. You can't start and just stop. That's kind of like you're quitting on God. And it's not in a sense to say I'm quitting and I'm walking out of the church, but it's in a sense to say you can't do any more with my life. I don't trust you to do any more with my life. And that's not what the ultimate sacrifice was done for. That is not what he paid his life for. That is not what he paid the ultimate price for. We need to understand that the ultimate price was paid for us and for our salvation. So in order for us to show our appreciation for that, we need to actually take steps. We need to actually make moves. And I encourage you to go back and revert back when you feel like you're stuck in those places, when you feel like you're stagnant. Go back to your original reason of saying yes. Even if it's not your original reason of saying yes, go back to when you rededicated your life and why. Excuse me, these allergies. And why. Excuse me. Go back to your original yes. And even if, like I said, it's not your original yes, go back to when you rededicated your life. Even if that was just a couple Sundays ago. Go back to the courage. Go back to the boldness. Go back to the bravery. Go back to the stepping out, the discomfort. Go back to all of that. When you feel like God can't do any more with your life than what he has done now, I encourage you to go back to where it began. Go back to where it began. Don't give your yes expecting to stay still. Don't give your yes expecting to stay still. Don't give your yes out of guilt for looking at someone else's life, or even out of guilt for the pastor saying, all right, who wants to come up and get saved? Or even if you're at home and God urges you to get saved, don't give your yes out of guilt. Because if you give your yes out of guilt, that guilt is going to eat you up inside, and you're still going to be at a standstill. Give your yes because it's true. Give your yes because it's sincere. Give your yes because you know that he's urging you. You know that he's calling you. Give your yes because of your own personal reason. Give your yes because of your own personal reason. Like I said, for those of you that may not caught my reason, my reasoning was because I literally needed to be saved from me. Not only that I needed to be saved from me, but I wanted to be an example to others that you are not too far gone for God to come and grab you up. You are not too far gone for him to accept you in. You are not too far gone to say yes to his invitation. And his invitation, if you watch a couple encouragements back, his invitation is open for everyone. It's open to all. So you don't have to, it's not like a wedding where you have a certain cutoff. It's not like a birthday party where you have a certain cutoff, or even a classroom where you have a certain ratio that you have to fill. That's not what giving your yes looks like. The invitation to give your yes is open to all. You just have to be the one to realize it. You have to be the one to understand, and you have to be the one to reach out and grab it. You have to be the one to say yes. So many people can pray for you and pray that he brings you in. So many people can pray that you release your demons. So many people can pray that you get set free. But until you want it for yourself and you use your mouth for yourself, you use your mouth for everything else. You use your mouth to go blab the latest gossip, or you use your mouth to go and tear down the next person. So if you can use your mouth to do all of those things, be brave enough when the time comes to open up and say yes when he calls you. Open up and say yes. But again, it needs to be in a true and sincere way. You need to make sure that you remain in a true and sincere way. And even if you happen to fall off throughout giving your yes, do not get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. Be sincere when rededicating. Be sincere when repenting. Be sincere when asking for forgiveness. Be sincere. And I promise you, it's going to be forgiven. You have to understand that you have to forgive yourself. So many of us give our yes, and when we backslide, or when something happens to us, or when we make a mistake, or we decide to stay still. I'll use that. When we decide to stay still, so many of us say to ourselves, we tear ourselves down because, like I said a couple days ago, our voice, Monday, remember, your voice is your greatest weapon that you were given by God. So many of us lose sight of that greatest weapon, and we stay still. We stay stagnant because we're okay with being where he is, with where he has taken us, even if it's just an inch ahead of where we were before we gave our yes. We stay okay in that moment. And it's okay to stay in the moment for the moment, but it's not okay to stay in the moment. Just like you don't waddle in your worries, just like you don't waddle in you messing up, just like you don't waddle in the stress, don't waddle in your yes. Don't waver in your yes either, but don't waddle in your yes. And what I mean by that is, don't waddle in your yes. I mean, don't stay, that's like you're literally waddling in a pool. Don't waddle in your yes. Don't be afraid to let him use you. Just because your voice doesn't sound like everybody else's voice, praise and worship. Just because you don't speak or teach like everybody else, pastor, bishop, minister, evangelist, nobody is made to sound or look like anybody. We are all made uniquely in our own personal ways. We are all made unique in our own personal ways. He made us that way for a reason. We're not supposed to fit in. We're supposed to stand out. And in us standing out, we reach the nation that he has called us to reach. But how can you reach your nation if you're waddling in that yes? How can you reach your nation if you're gatekeeping what it is that God has done for you? Don't be afraid to open your mouth and go spread the news. Yeah, it's good to spread the news amongst your friends, but sometimes you have to realize that you need to go beyond your friends. Sometimes you need to realize that even your friends aren't your friends. So you need to go beyond that and get the more that God has in store for you. So on today, Isaiah 54:2, I encourage you to go and meditate on that scripture. On today, I also encourage you to take a look back, to go back and realize and understand why you gave your yes. I hope and pray that you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope and pray that something that I have said in here has motivated you, has encouraged you, has made you yield. I hope and pray that something that I have said throughout this encouragement on today has moved you. I hope and pray that it has moved you. And if it has moved you, please make sure that you share it. If you feel moved in any way, shape, or form, make sure that you share this video. Put in the comments why you gave your yes. Remind yourself, or even remind somebody else, of why he's calling them to give their yes. I love you all, and I hope and pray that you have a wonderful Wednesday.